everyone, and welcome to Washington. If there is one place I could move after traveling the country for my celiac needs, it would be right outside of Seattle. I began my journey by going to Viva Tacoma, which is a vegan and gluten-free restaurant right outside the city where I tried cashew cheese for the first time. It was homemade, so I enjoyed it, and I had a smoothie there. Not as good as Harlow's, but pretty good. They offer living and raw food options too. I'm not into that sort of thing, but I think it's a cool feature if that's something you're into. However, the reason I love Seattle was for the city itself. It was great. I went up the Space Tower, and the Glass Museum blew me away. It's absolutely stunning, and it's a great tourist attraction. I highly recommend going there if you visit Seattle. Now, the restaurant that makes me want to move to Seattle is called Capitol Cider, and it's a cider bar, and it is kind of an English pub atmosphere. So I had fish and chips there because it was very, in season. But what happens is you walk in and they don't even advertise on their walls or anything that they're gluten-free. It'll advertise that they have shuffleboard. It'll advertise that they have, I don't remember, somewhere between 30 to 60 ciders on tap. But it doesn't have to focus on being gluten-free because it gets all the business either way. So ciders, I think, are pretty hard to come by in the States, and so, especially real ciders. So the thing I appreciate about the cider bar is they have all these ciders on tap, and you can try them, and your friends aren't going to know it's weird. They're going to think, oh, cool, I'm, having cider. And I happened to be there for St. George's Day, which is a big holiday over in England. So that was special for me because they had music going on, and it just seemed like I actually fit into the holiday. I did try out some other places in Seattle that made me want to stay there too. So I went to the Flying Apron Bakery, which has mixed reviews online. There's 2 locations. I went to the home location instead of the one where they bring the food because that sounded like a better option. For me, it was great because they met all my dietary needs. There are multiple food options I could try, which is really hard for me. However, I understand that if you can eat non-vegan goods, that it might not be the best bakery in the world. I had a chocolate donut and I had a double chocolate mint cookie and a shortbread cookie. The chocolate donut had frosting on the outside that was kind of hard, and it wasn't my favorite thing. I really enjoyed the double chocolate mint cookie so much that I went back and got another one. They're these huge cookies, so they're not really what you think of a cookie, and it sticks together really, really well, but it is kind of, I can see how you would think, drier on the inside. But once it goes in your mouth, it moistens and it's very deeply flavorful. So that I liked. And I was never a fan of shortbread cookies growing up, so I wouldn't take my judgment on that. But that cookie was much moister. But once again, it was a much thicker cookie than you're going to be used to. I checked out Blend, which is a juice/smoothie. It was fine. It was a great stop. They had a beautiful atmosphere. I loved the people down there. It was painted beautifully. My my juice was average. Nothing too exciting, nothing too bad. But the fact that there's a gluten-free option was great. I'm, of course, still in love with Harlow from Oregon. I also checked out Thrive, and they sell a bunch of different things. It's a gluten-free establishment, and it's going to also be focused on that health kick thing, which will remind you a bit of a Harlow. But they had juices, they had chocolate truffles, and meals. I liked my quinoa bowl from there a lot better than I liked the one at Harlow, but I liked my juice from Harlow better. And then the truffles I thought were delicious. So that was a big surprise for me. I've tried the special truffles that are vegan, gluten-free. Premium chocolate tears is still my all-time favorite to buy online, but these were 10 times better than the ones at Anacadamide, or however you pronounce it, back down in Long Beach. And finally, I got to try this place called Frans in Georgetown. They are 4 boutiques of a chocolate store. It'll kind of remind you of a Godiva, and everything's gluten-free in there. However, there are only a few vegan options, but it's all their dark chocolate as long as they made it with water that day. You do have to talk to them. Covered candied ginger is my favorite, but they have oranges, etc. Then they have bars. And then my favorite thing was they sell these little boxes, and they have thin mint, and they have salted grays, and I love the salted grays. That was unexpected. And the cool thing about this company is I actually found out about it on Instagram from Mom of a GF Foodie. And she had never been there. She was not from Seattle, but her friend had given it to her as a gift, and she remembered, oh, that's a Seattle-based company. And so that's just one of the reasons that I love blogging, and I love interacting with everyone. So thanks so much to her. And then finally, the bowls at Thrive were really expensive, but they did fill me up for multiple servings. And so when my friend came and we went to Rosslyn to go to the Brick, which is the oldest operating saloon in the state of Washington, I brought my quinoa bowl with me, and it was a great way to finish off my time in Washington. So now I'm heading back across the country. There's a lot less options for gluten-free food where I'm traveling, but there's a lot more outdoors, there's a lot more nature, and I'm excited to share some of the snacks and places I go with y'all. For now, you can follow me at #GFRoadTrip or #KJRoadTrip, and I will be on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and they're all at GFLife247. Until next time, bye!